Why is she always controlling him by touch? In this video, we're going to go through a specific event where Meghan just cannot keep her hands off of Harry in a controlling way. And we're going to uncover a startling connection to the, in quotation marks, royal biographer Omid Scobie. So let's get into all of it, but before we begin, here's the intro. Welcome to Revealing the Narc. Join me as I highlight narcissistic traits in celebrities and public figures. Everything here is in my opinion and not professional advice. If you enjoy the analysis, please like and subscribe. The event we're talking about today occurred in February 2019. And in the series of clips we're going to watch, Meghan and Harry are greeting people that are outside waiting for them. So without further ado, let's go through some of those clips. What you'll see in the next few clips is Meghan put her hand on Harry's back, then she will pull him back away from the children he's engaging with, and this will be followed by her putting her hand and actually resting her hand and her wallet or purse on his back. Personally, when I watch these videos, when Harry is kneeling, talking to people, and Meghan is touching his back, I feel like this is the worst and most suffocating of the way that she controls him, because it feels like there's such a heavy burden or heavy weight that's put on his back when he's already resting on his knees. It's like getting support from someone who's already needing physical support. You all let me know what you think about this, but it just rubs me the wrong way. And then what I also have is the same moment captured from a different angle. So you'll see she rests her hand on his back, then she pulls him backwards, and then she puts her hand with her purse and glove on his back again. Let's go through an article that actually describes this visit. So this was, again, like I said previously, this was February 2019. The title of the article we'll go through is titled Royal Winter Date. Meghan and Prince Harry step out for their first snowy outing together. The outing caps off a busy week for Meghan, who has completed her tour of 4 new patronages. The royal parents-to-be headed to Bristol to see some of the rich cultural history of the city, including one of the oldest working theaters in the world, and to meet the locals and visit organizations supporting communities in need. Meghan and Harry arrived in Bristol, about 120 miles west of London, as snow flurries fell. The Duchess wore a dress by Oscar de la Renta under a black coat by William Vintage, paired with olive green. She also carried a matching green clutch. After pulling off a top knot on Thursday, she let her hair fall loose. Despite the snow and chilly 33-degree temperature, the couple made sure to greet well-wishers gathered outside. "I hope everyone gets a nice cup of tea after this," Meghan was heard saying as she shook hands with fans, thanking them for braving the weather. Meghan even ran into Hayley Jones, 19, from Melbourne, Australia, who is an exchange student doing literature and politics at Bristol University and was a fan in her pre-royalty days. "It was very exciting," Jones said, of meeting the Duchess of Sussex. "I had followed her on the TIG. It was such a beautiful, inspirational blog. I thought it was incredible, and I wanted to let her know that it really impacted me." She said it was a passion project that she loved. So this is in 2019. And Hayley Jones is 19, and TIG, the blog, ended in 2015, 2016? In either case, Hayley Jones would have been a young to mid-teenager, and I don't think that the content of the TIG blog, the things that I've seen from it, would be something that would inspire a young teenager. So I would speculate that Hayley Jones could be another plant that was there to make these comments to Meghan so that it would be caught on camera. So now here is where the Omid Scobie connection comes in. As I was looking for video footage and for clips from this event, I stumbled upon this tweet. So as you can see, this is a tweet made by Omid on February 1st, 2019. The tweet itself says, "Meghan calls Harry over to come and meet the local children from Abbeywood Preschool." I'll show you the clip, but before we get into it, let's talk about who Omid Scobie is and why this is significant. So Omid Scobie is a British journalist and author, and he's best known for covering the royal family. He gained prominence through royal reporting and his close coverage of Harry and Meghan, and he co-authored the book Finding Freedom that was published in 2020, and Endgame, which was published in 2023. What I really want to focus on is this book, Finding Freedom. Omid has been known to be a Sussex-friendly editorial voice, and he confirms and maintains he isn't personally friends with the couple. Finding Freedom was a book written by Omid Scobie and Carolyn Durand, and it was published in August of 2020. Although initially portrayed as a fully independent book and the narrative was completely unrelated and didn't require any connections to Harry and Meghan, the authors later confirmed that Meghan quietly assisted through a third-party intermediary to prevent misrepresentation in quotation marks, and Harry's team was involved in fact-checking. I'm going to read you a little bit from Tom Bower's Revenge. The passages I'm going to read talk about Jason Knauf, who is a former senior communications aide within the royal household, and he played a pivotal role for the Sussexes. The passage begins, early on 10th December, Knauf sent Meghan a list of questions that Scobie had submitted for their meeting 2 days later. Once again, Knauf reiterated the need for deniability. I think it is important, he wrote to Harry, that we can say hand on heart, they, meaning Scobie and Durand, had no access to Meghan's friend and the palace. I'm going to end the passage there and begin reading a little bit ahead. And this passage begins. Determined to manage the narrative of the meeting to her advantage, that evening Meghan sent Knauf a 31-point briefing for his conversation with the authors. Amongst her priorities, listed over 2 pages, was a revised biography of her childhood. And let's end that passage there. So you can see Meghan is scheming with Jason Knauf and indirectly with Omid Scobie to rewrite her narrative in the book Finding Freedom. There's another passage in Tom Bower's Revenge. It begins, 2 years later, Meghan would exhaustively claim that neither she nor Harry had cooperated with the authors to put out their version of events by means of the book. In a signed legal statement, Meghan added that neither she nor Harry had wished to be involved in any way with the book. Prior to his meeting with Scobie, she added, Knauf did not contact Meghan about any matters relating to the book. Let's end the passage there. And clearly you can see these are all bold-faced lies. So this meeting between Jason Knauf and the authors of Finding Freedom occurred in late 2018. Omid has claimed he's never even met Harry and Meghan. And it's just so very odd to me that they were at the same place at the same time. Before I finish that thought, let me show you the video clip that Omid Scobie posted on his Twitter. So in this clip, Meghan calls Harry over, and this is literally pretty much the point of view that we watched earlier, where Meghan does put her hand on his back. And you can see Scobie is so close to them. Now, I'm assuming Scobie's the one taking this video. I don't know if he purchased this video from someone else who was there. That could be the case. It could be a source that sold him the clip. I don't know. So it is not confirmed that Scobie personally filmed this video. However, here's what we can infer from this post. The video is posted directly by Omid Scobie on February 1st, which is the date of the event. His caption is written in a casual, first-hand tone. Meghan calls Harry over to come and meet the children. The wording gives the impression that he either filmed it himself or was standing very close to the interaction and observing it directly. But there is no explicit confirmation in the tweet or elsewhere publicly that he recorded it himself. So to me, it appears to be firsthand footage. It was posted in real time. And all of this underscores the tone and timing as inconsistent with Omid's later claims of not knowing or being connected to Meghan and Harry in early 2019. I'm curious to know what you all think of this. I showed you video clips from 3 different tweets from Omid Scobie's page that all occurred on February 1st. It's all the same vantage point. Let me know in the comments, do you think Scobie recorded this himself? Was he there firsthand? Or did he obtain this footage from somebody, or did he purchase it from somebody? Let me know. All of this led me down another rabbit hole, and I ended up finding this article in The Telegraph titled, Revealed How Duchess of Sussex Authorized Aid to Brief Biographers. Meghan's relationship with family members and private discussions with the Queen included in briefings sent to her then press secretary. And this was published in November of 2021. The Duchess of Sussex authorized a senior aide to brief her biographers on her estranged family, including how her half sister lost custody of her children, had damaged relationship with her father, and her private discussions with the Queen about the tiara. The Duchess wrote a long email to Jason Knauf, her then press secretary, with helpful, in quotation marks, background reminders for his meeting with the authors of Finding Freedom, from her joy to living in Windsor to a denial that she worked with a stylist. We'll get into that stylist thing. That one is really, really weird. One of the things that Meghan was upset about was that Omid Scobie called Jessica Mulroney Meghan's stylist. And Meghan was upset about that and told Jason Knauf, and I'm paraphrasing here, that she doesn't know if she could trust Scobie to be the biographer if he thinks that Jessica Mulroney is her stylist, since the only thing she actually has control over is her style. Essentially, she didn't want someone taking credit away from the way that she looked, because she felt maybe she was getting positive press about that, and she didn't want, in my opinion, for someone else to take credit for that, whether directly or indirectly. The article continues: in a series of emails made public in the Court of Appeal on Wednesday in an ongoing legal battle with Associated Newspapers Limited, the Duchess detailed her relationship with her half-siblings on her father's side, who had criticized her to the press after she entered a relationship with Harry. So again, you see Meghan is trying to control the narrative, shift the narrative, rewrite history, and she used Jason Knauf and I mean, it seems Omid Scobie as pawns in her game to achieve this end. The article continues: the court had previously been told that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex had not collaborated on the unauthorized biography. In a witness statement to the court, Mr. Knauf said the couple were aware of the book and that it was discussed on a routine basis, with the Duke and Duchess authorizing specific cooperation in writing in December 2018. The book was discussed directly with the Duchess multiple times in person and over email. Emails sent on December 10th of that year show Mr. Knopf sending the Duchess a list of briefing points and telling her, if you're happy, I will see them later this week to set out the factual background and to provide more recent context. In response to that, the Duchess provided information on numerous points. So this would be the 31-point bulletin, I believe. She also went into detail about the very special story of how she chose her wedding tiara with the Queen, sharing that Her Majesty agreed her granddaughter-in-law's final choice was perfect. So again, she's hitting on things that she doesn't like have been said publicly, and she's rewriting history, she's changing the narrative. And at this point, I believe that Tiara Gate story had come out, so she was getting ahead of it, trying to switch out the story. The article continues: writing in the third person about her relationship with her father's older children, the Duchess said she never had a relationship with either of them and was considered an only child. Generally, when someone talks in the third person, the goal is to distance themselves from what they're talking about. And what a cold and horrible thing to say, that she was considered an only child. She's erasing the story of her brother and sister, half brother and sister, making them irrelevant, making them not exist. It is just cold and cruel. I know I would definitely be hurt if I read something like this, if one of my brothers or sisters said that they were considered an only child. The article continues: on the topic of the Sussexes' living arrangements, she noted that the Queen offered Windsor, which the couple gratefully accepted, adding they were very happy to have the space and privacy that Windsor affords, being able to go for long walks, etc. Amazing how this story changes, because after this is when we hear they said that they didn't live they were palace adjacent. So I don't see any gratefulness in comments that came afterwards. The article continues: the Duchess also asked that a tabloid story about a row over her wedding tiara be corrected, saying there was no conversation about any other tiara as a preference. Meghan loved the one she wore, and it remains a very special memory. She added, also, Meghan does not work with a stylist, with a redacted name being her close friend. We know that redacted name is Jessica Mulroney. I wonder why that was redacted. And again, you can see this is Meghan's pattern. She sees a story about herself she doesn't like, and she figures out a way to try to put another story out there. However, she does not cover her tracks very well, because we know then that she collaborated with Omid Scobie, And that pattern continues to this day. The articles we see in People magazine and Us magazine and so many others that we know are more of Meghan's mouthpiece. And you know what? I have to tell the truth. In my opinion, all of these people that we call mouthpieces, I think really they're motivated financially. And I think if there wasn't a monetary gain, whether directly through being paid or indirectly establishing themselves as journalists or experts in the topic where they would get paid to discuss this in other places. And I'm sure once the money runs out, and I think we're getting very close to that, we won't be seeing much of this anymore. Now, I have had suspicions about this Omid Scobie story for a while, and it has to do with this video clip where Meghan, this is now October 2018, this is in Australia. So let's remember that. This is in Australia. Meghan is talking to a group of people, and she looks the woman she's talking to up and down. It's just such a cruel look she has. And look directly behind her. There's Omid Scobie. He's there in Australia in October 2018. So now this is 2 months before the alleged meeting between Jason Knauf and Omid Scobie and Carolyn Durand. It is highly, highly, highly suspicious. I'm going to keep an eye out in future video clips I make to see if I spot Scobie in the background. And I have to credit all of you, the audience, because when I first made this clip several months ago, I didn't recognize Omid Scobie in the background, but many of you did. So thank you again that you are all so diligent and so aware. I am curious to know what you all think about this. Please drop it in the comments. I appreciate you all so much for being here. I have hit 40K subscribers. It's so exciting. I'm actually prepping for the celebratory live stream that's happening in an hour from my recording of this video. I am just so grateful to have a way to talk about these observations and have a community of people that are interested in it as well. So again, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate all of you so much. If this was interesting to you, please like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you'll know every time I drop a new video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you're looking for a meaningful way to support something beyond the screen, I'd love for you to consider making a donation to the National Domestic Violence Hotline in lieu of super chats and super stickers. They provide 24/7 support and resources for people in unsafe or overwhelming situations, whether that's emotional, physical, or just hard to name. Their information is on the screen should you need to contact them, and you'll find the link to donate in the description of this video. Every little bit helps, and it means a lot. Thank you again for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.